This is lesson 2.3a. It'll be the first video of two, and it's on multiplication property of equality. And just like in 2.2, it was the addition property of equality, and I had said that anytime you add a number to one side of the equal sign, so if I have x plus 3 equals 12, anytime I add or subtract one number from one side of the equal sign, I have to do the same thing to the other side. Or if I had x minus 3 equals 12, and I want to get rid of that minus 3, if I add 3 there, I have to add 3 there. So that's what it's saying, is whenever I add or subtract a number from one side, I have to do it to the other side. Well, if you read the name of this lesson, multiplication property of equality, what do you think that means for multiplication? It means that anytime we multiply or divide something by one side of the equation, we have to do the same thing to the other side. So if we take 5x and we say that that's equal to 30, if we want to get rid of that 5, remember a number added to a variable, if we subtract it from both sides, it gets rid of it. If we have a number subtracted from a variable, in order to get rid of it, we add 3 to both sides. We do its opposite. It's the same way with multiplication and division. If we have a number multiplied by a variable, like we do there, if we divide it both sides by that number, then it gets rid of that because 5 over 5 is 1. And remember what I said, if you have a 1 in front of a variable, you don't even have to show it. So that equals x, and then I've got 30 over 5. Well, 30 divided by 5 is 6. So in order for 5x equals 30 to be a true statement, then I have to have my x value equal to 6. So when I multiply it by 5, I get 30. So that's what we're going to be doing in this lesson, just practicing a bunch of different types of problems that have the multiplication there. Okay, so example 2. Negative 4a equals 24. So we're trying to get the a by itself. So in order to get it by itself, we have to get rid of that negative 4. That negative 4 is being multiplied by a, so if I divide it by negative 4, I have negative 4 over negative 4, which is 1, which makes this disappear. But I also have to divide this side by negative 4. So remember, when you divide by numbers with different signs, a positive 24 and a negative 4, you get a negative answer. A negative times a positive is a negative divided by a positive is a negative. 24 divided by 4 is 6, and you're done. All right, if we had something like this. All right, so a while back, I think I told you in this class that when we have a negative sign, this negative, well, let's put it up here, negative t over 3 is the same as, let me make it a little more obvious here. Negative t over 3, negative t over 3, and t over negative 3 are the exact same thing. So I can move this negative around wherever I need to in order to do what I need to do. All right, so let's look at this one right here. I have to get rid of that 3, and I also have to get rid of the negative in order for me to get the t by itself. So if I take this negative and I move it down here, that becomes a negative 3. Well, remember, if I had a number in front of the t, if I had a 3t equals 5 and I wanted to get rid of that 3, I divide both sides by 3. Well, in this one, I've got a division problem. So what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So if I have t over negative 3 and I want to get rid of that negative 3 because it's on the bottom, I multiply the problem by negative 3, and those will go away. And I also multiply this side by negative 3. So I got rid of two things at once. I got rid of the negative and the 3. And I'm left with t equals 5 times negative 3, which is negative 15. And I'm done. All right. Let's look at example 4. 2/3 y equals 4. All right. There's a couple different ways of doing this. The book does it, I think, a harder way. But whenever you have the number, or the fraction 2/3 y, it looks like that. The y is kind of in the middle. All right, one of the things that you can do is when you have a 2/3 with a variable next to it, you can put the y on top, and it becomes 2y over 3 equals 4. Like that. That means the same thing. That y is actually in the top. But the correct way of writing it is like this. I don't know why. Maybe they think it looks cooler, but I think it doesn't. All right, so when you've got it like this, we've got a two-step process. We're trying to get rid of both the 2 and the 3. So you always get rid of the one on the bottom first. So how do we get rid of a number on the bottom? Well, it's divided by 3, so we're going to multiply both sides by 3. That cancels and that cancels, and we have 2y equals 12. Then we've got a 2y. We get rid of it by dividing both sides by 2. And we get y equals 6. And we're done with that one. All right, so that's way different than what the book does, I think, but I don't know. It just kind of makes more sense to me. It's correct to do it either way. What the book did, just to show you, they took 2/3 y, oops, that doesn't look like a y, equals 4, and they said, okay, this number is being multiplied by y, so in order to get rid of it, we'll multiply it by its inverse, or its reciprocal. So they did that, made those go away, and we get y equals 12 over 2, which is 6. Okay, so some people may look at that and be like, oh, that's so much easier, I'm going to do that, it's faster. That's fine, but I just know that a lot of students get confused with that reciprocal stuff, and it just seems like it's easier to do it the way I did on the first one. All right, so example number 5. We have 5 plus 8. And we're saying that that equals 10x plus 20x minus 4x. All right, so first thing we want to do is we want to combine the like terms. We've got a bunch of x's there that we can put together. So we can add 10 and 20 and then subtract 4. So 10 plus 20 is 30. 30 minus 4 is 26. So I have 26x. I'm also going to add my 5 and 8 and get 13. And in order to get rid of this 26, it's being multiplied by x, so to get rid of it, I divide both sides by 26, and 26 over 26 is 1, so I can throw that away. And now I have 13 over 26. 13 over 26 is 1/2. It reduces to 1/2. So that's what my x value is 1/2. Okay, so that is it for 2.3a. The next video, 2.3b, should be pretty short.